Hi, friends. Hmm. It is January 9th, 2025, and I am very excited today to talk about the nodes, the lunar nodes moving from Libra and Aries into Virgo and Pisces. And I want to start by offering up a prayer of care and love and protection for everyone in California right now, for anyone who has lost their home, has lost their business, has had to breathe in the toxic fire fumes. I want to send some intentional care and protection and love to them, for the firefighters, for the animals, both domestic and wild, for incarcerated individuals who have been roped into and forced to fight these fires for like dollars per day, for incarcerated youth who may or may not have access to evacuation paths, for even like the ancestors of the land who are mourning the abuses that capitalism and our current systems of operating have just like deeply wounded the land and our relationship to the land. And so just for us to be cognizant now and aware now of yeah, the sort of like swirling energies of destruction and rebirth that are playing out in real time in our reality. And for those of us who are removed from the destruction, for us to keep those individuals in our thoughts and in our prayers and in our actions. I hope that if you are seeing this and you have the means, that you can just give back in a way that feels, I don't know, the word is just like resourceful. If you have a full resource of something that you can generously, kindly, with love in your heart, offer it to those who could benefit from it now. And it might, for those of you who are just here for the astrology, um, perhaps you have already checked out. Um, Hopefully not. If you've stuck around, I hope you understand that this prayer and this offering is not a digression from the topic that we're going to be talking about today. It's actually like very much on point. On January 11th at 6:01 p.m. EST, the North Node is moving into Pisces and the South Node is moving into Virgo. And the nodes are associated with destiny, with our sort of like karmic cycles, with the energy, especially when we think about it in terms of transits, of things that we are being invited to give up and things that we are being invited to step into more deeply. And so the North Node is moving into Pisces, and this is definitely an energy and an archetype of something that might be new and might be unfamiliar, but is something that we desperately need to cultivate as a collective for to sort of like activate our evolution. Um, the South Node is moving into Virgo, and so when we think about like archetype or like stereotypical Virgo traits and tendencies, these are the elements of our sort of like collective behavior that we are being prompted to consider releasing. And I'll talk about that more in just a second, but I want to note first that the lunar nodes spend about 18 months, about a year and a half in each of their like paired signs. They travel through the zodiac together. And they travel in a retrograde fashion. So they go backwards around the zodiac. And this means that the North Node will be entering into Pisces at 29 degrees, and the same with Virgo. The South Node will be entering into Virgo at 29 degrees. And as some of you may know, 29 degrees is the last degree in any zodiac sign, and it is known as the anaretic degree. It is sort of this powerful point of culmination. And so when we think about the nodes, a lot of times I think about the fact that we're like beginning at the end of something. We are beginning with this sometimes like the death and the destruction of a specific set of patterns and tendencies. And so especially if you have planets or aspects in your chart, major aspects in your chart at the maybe like 27 to 29 degree point. I would pay special attention to those, especially if they are in Pisces or Virgo, because they are going to be definitely activated on the 11th when the nodes move. So pay attention to that. And as always, if you need support looking at your own chart, you can send me a message if you want. We can even do like a transit reading for you. Let's get into the really juicy bits. Let's talk specifically around what this nodal transition is, how it's going to play out. So again, when we think about the North and the South node, we are really going to be working with themes of karmic destiny. And so we are thinking about what it is that needs to be activated and what needs to be released for our, in this case, collective evolution. And so I'm going to start with the South node, and I'm going to start with the elements that we might be needing maybe or like invited to give up and release. So the South Node is entering into Virgo, and as a Virgo sun, I am extremely familiar with the high road and the low road of Virgo. What I want to start off by saying about this Pisces and Virgo axis, right? This like polarity between these sister signs is that I consider this to be the axis of healing. And what I mean by that is Virgo is the number six sign in the zodiac. So we start with Aries and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer and Leo, and then Virgo. And the bottom half of anybody's natal chart is really like their most individualized components of the chart. And Virgo over here at number 6 is like the culmination of all of these different inside personal elements. And so Virgo, you know, our superpower is discernment. And a lot of times we get this reputation for being the like sort of perfectionist asshole of the zodiac. And what I want to clarify is that's really what Virgo is here to do, is to hold each individual person, ourselves included, to our sort of like greatest potential. It's like we can see what is possible. We can see the best and the worst, but the best potential in each individual person. And so it's very easy when a Virgo is like out of or is operating in a from a place of dysfunction to just like point out all of the things that are wrong because it's we can spot it. And so when we are thinking about the South Node being in Virgo, what we are being invited to step away from is this like hyper reliance on wanting to control and wanting situations to be perfect and wanting ourselves to be perfect, holding each other to this standard of perfection that is just not possible. One of the like components of Virgo medicine that I've been really working with for the past couple of years is this idea that perfection is the goal of many lifetimes, not just one, and that unless you are Jesus or Buddha or, Muhammad or whatever, unless you are like an ascended master, essentially, it's very unlikely that you're going to achieve like state of perfection in this life. And so you can relinquish that standard for yourself and for others and come into a place of more experimentation, a place of more um, trust in intuition and sort of inner wisdom and messy action. This is going to be like a really big theme for the next 18 months is sort of stepping into trust rather than needing to know beforehand. One of my teachers, Dr. Clara, likes to remind me that we are a very symbol-oriented society, that we like to see the money in our bank account. We like to believe in the things that we can taste and touch and hear and see. And so it's a very like Virgoian trait, right? Virgo is an earth sign, that sort of like tactical tangibility can be can be reassuring. However, it is an illusion, right? Even the symbols are like made up. But the South Node in Virgo is inviting us to rely less on these like physical, tactile indicators and to move towards a more Piscean way of operating. Pisces, our dear 12th house, final sign of the zodiac, our like mutable water babe, is the sign of oneness. It is the dark of the womb. It is the fertile void. It is the sort of like dreamy liminal space where everything is possible in its potentiality. In Pisces, there is the possibility for true collective healing, because everything is perfect in its potentiality. And it is the land of dreams and angels and guides. And we are being invited to anchor into these energies in order to activate our collective evolution. And so, because the North Node has been in this 10 plus year cycle through the bottom hemisphere of the zodiac, it has been all about, or maybe our like collective focus has been all around how can I improve myself? How can I like focus on getting my bag, essentially? And now we are like, woo, okay, we can transition a little bit of that attention and a little bit of that focus to like, how is it that we can repair the systems in our society that are keeping us individualized, so that we can remember and experience what it is to be part of a greater whole. And there's going to be, I hope, this like dissolution of individualism, because when we think about things like climate change and imperialism and propaganda and you know, like the growing billionaire class, this idea of extraction and exploitation for my own personal gain, those ways of being, those systems all require collective coming together and collective effort, energy, etc., in order to like break down, shift, and change. And so the North Node in Pisces is here to remind us that we are like the trees, we are like the mushrooms. We appear maybe as individuals, but below the surface, our root systems, our mycelium systems, like we are as humans deeply, deeply interconnected and reliant on one another energetically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like in every way possible. It's necessary that we remember this interconnectedness for our greater good. And so let us invest our time and our energy and our capacity into a world beyond what is known and what is seen and what is tasted by us, like currently. Let us return again and again and again to that like Piscean liminal space, that fertile void where everything exists in potentiality, so that we can like pluck out and plant and nurture the sort of like seeds of the future that we actually want. Now, more than ever, it is time to relinquish our reliance on the illusion of control and allow the dreamers to charm us into believing and acting as though a better world is actually possible. And so, from the river to the sea, none are free until we are all free. And I am very hopeful and excited and optimistic about this transition of the North and South Node, because I feel so deeply with this transition and with Pluto moving into Aquarius and, a couple of other like big transits that are happening in 2025, that we are being urged and initiated, invited into a world where we take care of one another on a scale that maybe we haven't for at least the past 10 years, but probably more like 100, 250, at least since the United States has been around, and certainly before. So I love you. Thank you for listening, for watching, for supporting. This work is really everything to me. And I trust that the message that was meant for you, I trust that it found you. And if you want to engage with me in a more personal and a deeper way, I am hosting a breathwork and astrology session, virtual group session on the 21st of January, um, 8 to 9:30 p.m. EST. Yes, there will be a recording sent. If you can't make it live, that's fine. But the goal and the intention is for us to step into that sort of like Piscean collective, dream-like liminal state, so that we can clear out any noise and any like tendrils, maybe, um, of things from 2024 that are continuing to hold us back, so that they can be released and so that we can, with heart centered clarity, identify and anchor into the dreams that we have for ourselves and for our world. And so I hope to see you there. And if not, hopefully I'll see you on the interweb somewhere else. So until next time, love you.